The VW Scirocco is celebrating its 40th birthday, explains our car reviewer Ines Petri. After 1992, however, the car took a 16-year hiatus before production was resumed. Today, Ines is taking a closer look at the third generation of the two-door model, which has been given a facelift. Back in the 1970s, when it was first launched, the Scirocco was hyped as a sporty car, and today the evolved version of the coupe continues to hark back to those roots. With the latest design update, VW's engineers have made changes at the front and back that emphasize both the model's kinship with the Golf, but also its unique character. There have been changes under the hood as well. Volkswagen's Albert Melzo says the design team focused on integrating engines from the Golf into the new Scirocco in order to reduce consumption, which worked. They improved fuel efficiency by 19%. In addition, he says, they also improved performance and torque, making it a lot more fun to drive. Customers can choose from among 4 engines, 2 gasoline-driven and 2 diesels. Ines is testing the more powerful diesel version. Its 2-liter TDI provides 135 kilowatts of kick and 184 horsepower. It's very lively, and when she hits the gas, she can watch the turbo gauge as it pumps up the turbocharger. You can feel the power straight away. The Scirocco's maximum torque of 380 Newton-meters allows the car named after a hot desert wind to fly down the road. Its top speed is 230 kilometers per hour, and the coupe can hit 100 kilometers an hour from a dead stop in just 7.5 seconds. Drivers can also change the suspension from sport to comfort at the touch of a button. Ines says the Scirocco steers well and doesn't seem to drift at all in curves. Instead, it glides around them. It allows you to take them head on. And here's a breakdown of the latest alterations. In front, the Scirocco has been given some graceful skirting, along with new bi-xenon headlamps and LED daytime running lights. It now also comes fitted with 18-inch light alloy wheels and a rear roof spoiler. At the rear, a diffuser underlines the model's sporty character. The VW logo doubles as the trunk latch in an effort to integrate a degree of practicality into the sleek design. When it comes to everyday use, however, the 4-door Golf would be the better choice. As in all coupes, rear seat passengers have to scrunch into place. Once there, though, there's ample space. The interior is remarkably similar to the Golf. And just like in the Scirocco's cousin, the dashboard is now arranged according to VW's tube design. An important aspect for any car with sporting ambitions, comfort in the front row seats. In the Scirocco, they certainly do the job. One thing Ines doesn't like about the car is that the 360-degree visibility isn't what it should be, partially due to the wide C-pillar and small windows in the rear, and the tinting on the glass and back. Optional extras include parking sensors and a rear-view camera. They make seeing behind you a piece of cake, says Ines. For those who want a little more juice, the Scirocco R is being launched at the same time as the standard version of the model. It provides about 30% more power, and its dual-clutch gearbox allows it to accelerate to 100 kilometers per hour in just 5.5 seconds. VW's development chief says the R is slung lower than its predecessor and that the series comes with a 17-inch brake system. A bare-bones Scirocco R will set you back at least 36,000 euros in Germany. The cheapest version of the regular edition can be had for a third less. Overall, Ines really liked the third-generation VW Scirocco, even before the facelift, because it's designed differently than the ubiquitous Golf. The two-door coupe is really sporty and performs great out on the road. If she had one wish, it would be that VW also offer a station wagon version, a little longer, with 2 more doors and a little more space in the trunk. That would combine the practicality of the Golf with the Scirocco's extravagant design and sporty genes. As a station wagon, she says, the Scirocco would get her top marks. Plenty of cameras and a few well-known faces to smile for them. Just the framework BMW wants for this long-awaited event. The i8 is finally ready to hit the streets. The Bavarian car maker hopes it will fire both young hearts and old. This happy owner says he feels like it's Christmas. The smell of the leather, he says, is like the smell of the candles on Christmas Eve. He's happy he bought the car. The public premiere took place at the BMW World facility in Munich, where the very first 8 i8s stood ready to welcome their new owners. Everyone wanted to take a turn behind the wheel, including German television star Thomas Gottschalk. He explains that his relationship to cars tends to be erotic rather than technical. When he saw the i8 here in the garage, he says his first instinct was to plant a kiss on the roof. BMW's electric cars, the i3 and the i8, are to be built in BMW's factory in Leipzig. Other conventional series are also produced here, but at this location, BMW is increasingly moving away from heavy gas guzzlers and towards lightweight vehicles, powered electrically. In 2013, the car manufacturer invested 400 million euros in extending its Leipzig works. The concept, which involves unique design architecture principles, makes use of lightweight construction materials and innovative production processes. BMW's Karsten Breitfeld says the team wanted to build a sports car for the 21st century that combines the advantages of a zero-emissions electric car with the emotional impact of a sports car. That was the challenge, he says, integrating those two elements into one car. The i8's exterior is sleek. A stripped-down model reveals the batteries, located centrally, linked to an electric motor powering the front axle. There's a 1.5-liter 3-cylinder internal combustion engine in back. On electricity alone, the i8 can hit 120 kilometers an hour and has a range of 37 kilometers. To continuously renew the battery's charge, BMW has implemented a brake energy regeneration system. In comfort mode, the i8 runs at speeds up to 60 kilometers an hour on electrical power alone. After that, receiving boost from the combustion engine. When turned to sport, however, all limits are off. The 169 kilowatt combustion engine takes over, while the 96 kilowatt electric motor kicks in when necessary to provide extra speed. On average, the new sports car burns just 2.1 liters of fuel per 100 kilometers on the road. The first time behind the wheel, the first tentative meters, and the long-awaited purchase. It's a big moment for the new owners. The first thing he did was turn on the combustion engine, he says, and that it sounded fantastic in the garage. He was really surprised by that. Since then, he's only driven 150 meters, but they were great. With its combination drive philosophy, the i8 is pointing the way towards a new future. It's ushering in the dawn of a new age at BMW, promises the car maker, which says it wants to create mobility for the generations to come. This happy owner says it drives like a dream and that her daughter might drive it one day. But next generation mobility doesn't come cheap. In Germany, the i8 starts at 126,000 euros. The Citroën C4 Cactus comes built with a fresh design and technological innovation. The off-roader look is reinforced by the so-called air bumps, which help prevent dents in the bodywork. Engine economy starts at 3.1 liters of fuel per 100 kilometers. The C4 Cactus retails from 13,990 euros in Germany. Toyota has given the Yaris a facelift with most of the work on the front section. The update lends the vehicle a more distinct and modern look. The remodeling plans were coordinated in Europe. Customers can choose between a diesel, a hybrid, and 2 conventional gasoline models. The Yaris will be available in Germany as of late August for prices starting at just under 11,990 euros. Our car tester Sascha Knapp says that he may have the right car for people who have a country house in Tuscany, the AMG version of the Mercedes S-Class Coupe. It retails for a hefty 170,000 euros and will be checking what sort of luxury that money will buy you. Some cars are simply a joy to be in, and the new Mercedes S63 AMG Coupe is one of them. The S-Class sedan is a car to be driven around in. The coupe is one to drive yourself. The back seats leave room for little more than a briefcase, but this car is about the front, not the back. The extreme power of the engine is guaranteed to put a smile on any serious driver's face. Mercedes has reduced the weight of the new model by 65 kilos, even though the S63 AMG Coupe has more standard options than its predecessor. That's because the complete body shell and parts of the chassis are made of aluminum. But the engineers only reduced weight where it made sense. The soundproofing in the doors, for instance, has stayed the same. Mercedes aerodynamics expert Alexander Musner says that special attention was also paid to the side windows. They contain extra thick 6mm glass. It's laminated, made up of 2 layers separated by a transparent film, cutting down on exterior noise. At the same time, we also thought long and hard about the seals, he says. What sort of material they should be made of, and how many layers of seal there should be. You can hear the results, or to be precise, not hear them. In fact, the coupe is quieter than the sedan. For Mercedes, quiet is an integral part of luxury, as is scented air in the cab, something usually only featured in French luxury cars. The nose is, after all, a sensitive organ. Sascha says for 170,000 euros, there's a lot of luxury in the interior, and there are plenty of buttons to control the amenities. There are 3 large control areas. On the left are various driving assistance systems. In front is the onboard navigation and radio, and then there's the heating and air conditioning. Our car tester adds that the AMG version of the S-Class Coupe delivers 430 kilowatts of power and zooms from 0 to 100 in 3.9 seconds. But the speedometer only goes up to 250 kilometers an hour, and the fuel consumption is optimistically estimated at 10 liters per 100 kilometers. Our car tester is probably going to need a bit more than that today. Like the S-Class limousine, the coupe is available with a variety of driving assistance systems that make the car safer and more comfortable. One example is the Distronic Plus, with a steering assist function and a stop-and-go pilot. It allows drivers to relax in traffic jams. Hitting the gas, braking, and staying in lane, everything is automatic. The driver just has to get used to technology. However, the car seems to react quite sluggishly, and you can catch yourself with your foot hovering over the brake just in case. Our car tester says that those who fall in love with the S-Class Coupe but don't have 170,000 euros for the AMG version might want to look at the S500 version. It only costs 126,000 euros, but also has a lot to offer. It's got a top performance motor, great design inside and out, and is sure to attract jealous looks from other drivers.
What
do an Opel and a Ferrari have in common? Asks our car tester Emmanuel. Not much, you might think. But both car makers named a model after their respective founders, the Ferrari Enzo and the Opel Adam. Being German, the latter innovator was actually pronounced Adam. But the car makers' marketing experts decided to use the English pronunciation to underscore the vehicle's sporty, youthful image. Let's check it out. In contrast to the Enzo, which was a top-of-the-line car, the Opel Adam is an economy model aimed at first-time buyers. It's a city runabout, and one that certainly stands out in the crowd. Customers can choose between 17 body and 6 roof colors to suit their individual taste. Emmanuel finds the Adam's design rather refreshing, but he's not a big fan of the color of our test car, which reminds him of peppermint ice cream, not his favorite flavor. The exterior does its best to make a friendly impression. And the front end smiles amiably. The car is also hard to hate on the sustainability front, boasting 170 parts made from recycled plastic. The name of Opel's founder is engraved on the chrome-lined C-pillar. Out on the road, the rear end becomes a mini kaleidoscope. The rear lamps are both square-edged and round. Despite the Adam's compact size, the engine is easy to access. Emmanuel likes the way you can get at the headlights from behind to change defective light bulbs. That saves a trip to the garage. The model we tested had a 1.4-liter EcoFlex engine with 74 kilowatts of power. The manufacturer says it needs only 5 liters of gas per 100 kilometers. Official top speed is 185. With the Jam set to options, the Adam with this engine retails in Germany for 15,445 euros. Emmanuel says the suspension has a nice balance of sportiness and comfort. You can coast along smoothly and take corners with pace. The little Opel also has sound handling. That's thanks to speed-sensitive power steering. The faster Emmanuel drives, the less responsive it is. That increases safety at high speeds and improves maneuverability when going slower. The Adam's interior is also a hit. The large round instruments are easy to read, while the design and colors of the trim can be customized. The large display controls are innovative, as is the layout of the heating and air conditioning. Emmanuel likes the car's interior, which he says fits with the concept of a car for young people's lifestyles. But he criticizes the cramped trunk, which can accommodate a couple of cases of mineral water and a bit of shopping, but which has a relatively high trunk sill. You have to lift objects way up to put them in the trunk. The sill could have been lower. Emmanuel's verdict? The Opel Adam isn't a transport vehicle and doesn't pretend to be. It's a refreshingly modern city vehicle aimed at young drivers, and in that regard, it's a success. The car has already won a number of prizes for its design and engineering. That would no doubt have pleased the company's founder, Adam Opel. With a sticker price of 11,750 euros, the basic version is a bit more expensive than many of its competitors, but its standard features are superior. Schloss Dick yet again provides a glorious backdrop for one of the grandest events on the German vintage meet calendar, now in its 9th year. And what better way to take a trip back in time around the 2.8-kilometer-long oval course than in a blast from the past? Like this Porsche 550A Spider from 1957. Behind the wheel is Le Mans and Formula One legend Jackie Ickx, who won his first Grand Prix at the tender age of 23.
The atmosphere in Schloss Dick, with all these classic cars, it's a splendid atmosphere. And I recommend everyone to come here because really, it's really, really nice. There is a human aspect in the organization. For those who come to see the cars, the drivers, yes, there is a soul, and that's fantastic. And for me, it's a discovery, Schloss Dick, so I'm very impressed.
Away from the stars and action on the road, every year vintage car enthusiasts gather on the picnic lawn to show off their four-wheel treasures to an appreciative public. It's an informal meet and greet and a great chance to talk shop with fellow fans. Alexander Prince has brought along his VW bus. It's his 3rd year here at what he calls the best vintage meet in Germany. The atmosphere is unique, and he was grateful to be able to grab one of the few remaining picnic slots. The Concours d'Elegance features a more exclusive group of classic vehicles, specially selected by the organizers for scoring. Many are prototypes. It's the first time Raoul Sangiorgi was invited to be a judge. He's a regular jury member at the Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance in California. He's impressed by the high standards here at Schloss Dick, both the judging and the cars. It's a pleasure to be a judge here. Among the beauties under inspection is this Alfa Romeo 6C 2500S convertible, a long chassis model built by Pininfarina in 1947. It's always an exciting moment, reveals its restorer. This is where all his hard work is ultimately evaluated, or indeed the efforts of the companies that helped him. It's always really tense and nerve-wracking, but he loves it. Next up in the exclusive rarities parade, a Porsche with a custom-built body built by Beutler in 1958. There's also a weird and wonderful selection of cars from America, showcased in a special Stars and Stripes section. Many trends born in the U.S., after all, have gone on to make an impact in Europe, too. Tom Koch from Germany brought along his 1965 Buick LeSabre. He's been working with old cars for years, but never made it to Schloss Dick before. This year, he came here spontaneously, feeling it was the right time. The car was ready, and so was he. He applied for the concours at short notice, but got a reply within a week. But the Buick wasn't always in such stunning condition. It was a used car from California, he explains. The entire powertrain needed redoing. The engine, transmission, and brakes, too. He's now happy with its condition, although the exterior needs some working on. All proceeds from the classic days, by the way, go towards the upkeep of the palace and grounds. And given the popularity of the event, Schloss Dick is guaranteed to remain in a suitably glorious shape for hosting these venerable old vintage classics.